Hey, and welcome back to the Farming Pastor's Wife. Today we're going to talk about worship and the two separate styles of music. And I give a fair comparison of both and the arguments that people give for both, and then my feelings about it. And so please watch till the end. If you're going to watch this video, watch it all the way to the end so you can get everything I say. Because I do talk about both sides and kind of where I'm at, which is right in the middle. So, and I kind of share my feelings on the subject and why it's such a hot topic in churches today. So if you're going to watch this video, please watch it all the way to the end. And y'all have a good day, and thank you for watching. Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Talk About It Tuesday, and I'm filming it on Tuesday, and y'all may not get it till Wednesday. I am so busy, and I know the sun is shining and you can't see anything, and I am so sorry. I'm having to do this while I'm running errands. We're making more pillowcase dresses, and so I got to go get some supplies, plus it's my grocery shopping day. So I'm just going to talk to you while I drive. I wanted to talk about worship today. Worship is such a controversial subject in the churches today, and I don't understand. Well, I do understand. My husband made a great observation one time. You know, Lucifer, Satan, who used to be Lucifer, which was an angel in heaven. Did y'all know that? Satan was an angel in heaven at one time. And so he was in the presence of God. And he understands the importance of worship and what joy it brings the Lord. So if he can mess up anything in the church, he's gonna mess up worship. And I'm not gonna discuss worship as far as, do you raise your hands? That'll be another day. Do you clap? Do you cry? Do you shout? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about today. My discussion on worship is the hot topic, which is your form of music, whether it be hymns, traditional, or the new, and what they can. I don't like the word contemporary, but anyway, that's, you know, new or contemporary. So let me first of all tell you that my stance is probably different from a lot of people's, because usually you're either one or the other, and I am a happy medium. I love the hymns. I love the old stuff. I love the messages and the stories behind the songs, and I love the new stuff. And I know, and first, let me just go ahead and say, don't be ugly with your comments if you're going to make comments, because this is my opinion on music, and you're going to see what I'm saying in just a minute. This is my preference. I'm giving you I am telling you how I think and how I believe and what I enjoy. So please keep that in mind when I talk about this. But I find that you've either got people who love the old hymns, they love it, and they despise the new stuff. Or you got people who really, really, really like the new stuff, and they despise the old hymns. And I just want to say, and that's fine, because that may be your preference. And that's what this is. This is preference. This has no spiritual, biblical. The only thing I can say is you need to look at the lyrics, both in the hymns and the new stuff. And if it's something anti-biblical or something that is, then that song is wrong. but that doesn't fall under a category of new or old. That can be either one. So let me just say, your music style is preference. It is not one being more spiritual or more holy than the other. Okay? And it goes both ways, because I find that people who really like hymns kind of put themselves on a pedestal above those that like the contemporary, and vice versa. Those that like the contemporary maybe feel more spiritual than those that like the hymns. And I'm telling you, there is gold nuggets and there is holy worship in both. I lead music at our church, and we do both. We do hymns, we do the newer stuff too, and hopefully our church feels that. And let me first of all say, or not first of all, but let me go ahead and say, our church has embraced them both. Our church does so good. I mean, our church is unified, I believe. Now, I'm not saying everybody likes them both the same, but they're not fighting over which music style are we going to do. Our church, I mean, it's awesome. But I just wanted to say that if you like hymns over the contemporary, that does not make you more holy. And if you like contemporary over the hymns, that does not make you more spiritual. It is just pure preference. Pure preference. Like some people like to drive a Ford over a Dodge. Or I like Pepsi over Coke. It is preference. Has nothing to do with, and I think people forget. And I'm gonna pick on those right now, and then I'll switch. So I'm doing this fair. So first, let me pick on the ones that like the hymns. They say that old new stuff. You know, we need the old good old stuff. We need the good old religion and the good old stuff. And they forget that the hymns that they love to sing and that they're considering the good old stuff was in its day new. That's not what they were singing when Jesus was walking around. They were singing something totally different. So the hymns in their day were new. And let me tell you, in case you didn't know, some of the hymns were written to saloon tunes. The words were put to tunes that were being played in taverns and saloons and stuff. And that's okay. That's okay. And so now let me pick on those that like contemporary. They say there's nothing but old stuff, you can't understand it, it's old, it's outdated. Let me tell you, what God moves on the heart of people who wrote those hymns, it's not outdated, because my Bible tells me that God's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And if God placed that on somebody's heart to write a song back in the day, then it's just as relevant today as it was then. And so let me just tell you, I just want everybody to, I'm not telling you you have to like that style of music, but don't put people down that like that style. Either way, don't put people down. If somebody likes the hymns, don't put them down. Don't think they're trying to kill a church because they like the hymns and it's going to die and da-da-da-da-da. That's just not true, and that's not fair. And don't say that somebody who likes contemporary music is in that new age stuff, da-da-da-da-da. That's not true either. It's not true. Let me tell you, there's so many scriptures in the Bible that talk about a new song. That God placed a new song on my heart. But where the rubber meets the road is you've got to look at the lyrics and find out and search for yourself. Search God's word. If there's something in there that's questionable, then you search God's heart and you search his word. And if it's not biblical, then that song's out. Okay? So there's my little spiel on worship. I just think we need to realize that it's fine to have a preference. Like I said, I happen to like both. Oh, it's hot. I happen to like both, and thankfully so. And our church, I am telling you, we are so blessed at our church. They have embraced both, and they, like I said, each person may have a preference. Each person may like the old hymns. Each person may like. I'm telling you, our church is so good. Before we got there, they had moved to, they had taken the pews out and put those soft, cushiony chairs. Now, I really don't have a preference there either. I can sit on a pew and I can sit on a chair. I personally think about the people who walk miles and miles and miles barefooted and then sit on milk crates or stand on dirt to come to church. And so I find myself, it's hard for me to complain about either one, whether it be pews or chairs, because I just know there's people who have less. And thank goodness we don't have to sit on those old wooden pews. But so I'm not a pew or chair person either. And I know there are people that prefer pews over chairs. They think that's, you know, I don't know. I don't know what makes a chair or pew spiritual. But anyway, there's people that have their preference there. But let me tell you, our church, I know people there have their preference with that, but they've embraced whatever. It doesn't matter. They're just glad to be in church. And I'm so proud of my church. I'm so proud it was God's church. I am so proud of the church that we pastor, or my husband pastors. It's just awesome. And the same with the music. They have, I'm sure people have a preference, one or the other, new or old, but they just are happy to be in church, and they're just happy to worship the Lord, and they're asking the Lord to show them a new thing. And so so that's my little spiel on worship. Don't think that your preference makes you better than the people who prefer the other. And and I'm saying that goes both ways. And you know, and different churches are built for different things. You've got your small churches, or your country churches, or even some of your bigger churches that do hymns, and that's that church's personality. And that's wonderful. And then you've got those churches that are hip and that are reaching a totally different crowd, and they sing the hip contemporary music, and that's that church's personality. That doesn't make that church more spiritual or less spiritual than yours. So let's quit bickering over the silly small stuff. Let's quit making Satan's job easy if he can disrupt worship. You know, and then we get on the bandwagon and fuss and bicker about it. Then we're helping him. Let's quit making his job easy and quit working for him, and let's start worshiping the Lord, whether it be new or old or in the middle. You know, there's a lot of songs that aren't considered an old hymn, but they're not considered new either. The old choruses, and so let's just embrace each other. Let's quit worrying about the small stuff. Let's quit majoring on the minor stuff and start majoring on the major. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? I say things wrong all the time. But y'all, my heart is just to see this world come to know Jesus. And if it takes a hymn or if it takes a contemporary song to reach their heart, then so be it. So be it. Quit worrying about your selfish preferences. And I'm preaching to the choir here too. Not necessarily with music, because like I said, I like them both. But there's other things that I have strong preferences for that sometimes I let get in the way of what God's wanting to do, and I don't want to get in his way, and I sure don't want to help Satan. And so before you start complaining, and like I said, this is not coming from our church at all. Our church is great. I just know by listening to other pastors, by being in the ministry for 18 years or longer. I don't know how long. 2001. 17 years. I don't know. Anyway, I just know by being in the ministry this long and talking to other pastors that people like to fuss over the style of music. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Because all it is preference. It's all preference. Because there are some of the most moving songs, both old and new. I think about the hymn, Amazing Love. Amazing Love. It talks about how a king would die for me. And that hymn tears me up. How can amazing love, how can it be? And that one should die. I can't even think of the words right now, but oh my goodness. And then some of the new songs that helped me and my husband walk through a dark time. When we were deciding to move in the chicken houses, and when fear just enveloped my husband to where he could hardly function. Songs like No Longer a Slave and Carrie Job's Steady My Heart and Lauren Daigle's Trust in You. Those songs carried me through. Those were my anthems during that time. And so, don't badmouth what God is using just because it's not your preference. Because God can use the new and the old to do mighty things in people's lives. So, I didn't mean to get emotional. I'm here at the church, going to turn the air on. Sorry. I'm just passionate. I'm passionate about people not standing in the way of what God's doing. I don't think they mean to. I don't think they realize that they could possibly be hindering what God's wanting to do. I think they just get caught up in what they want. And, I hear of churches all the time who are fussing over this. It is the most childish and silly thing I have ever heard of. Like I said, whether it's a hymn or a new song, you check those, make sure it's biblical and theologically correct, and there's nothing in it that stands against God. And and that should be your judge. You know, not the style of music. So anyway, there goes my little speech on worship. So, like I said, please be kind in your comments, because this is the way I feel. And it's just my little rant, because I see so many churches, and like I said, I cannot tell you how blessed we are to be in a church that embraces both. And they're just happy to see people worshiping, and oh, I'm so thankful. But my heart goes out to those churches that are getting caught up in this and getting hung up on things that, well, they matter. It really matters. Worship matters huge. But they're getting caught up in their preferences, not on necessarily what God's doing. So, y'all, search God's heart. Search His will, and just in anything, whether it be worship, whether it be pews, chairs, whether it be the hymnals or the screen on the wall, whatever it is, search your heart and see if this is a preference issue or if it's really a doctrinal, theological, spiritual issue. And if it's just preference, let it go, and just pray that God helps you catch the vision, or if you're in the right, helps others catch the vision. So, and that the Lord would lead and guide and direct your church and your home and your life in the way it would go. And just seek Him to direct your path. And don't think because others have a different preference than yours that either A, they're more spiritual, or B, you're more spiritual, because that doesn't mean that. It just means you like two different things. God made us all different. God made us all different. So there you go. So I'm at a great place. I'm here at my church. I'm going to go unlock the fellowship hall. And so y'all have a good day, and just worship the Lord in spirit and in truth. In spirit and in truth, because that's who He seeks. He seeks the true worshipers. So worship the Lord with all your heart. He's so worthy of it, church, family, friends, YouTube watchers. He's so worthy of our praise. And because He died for you. He loved us enough to die for us. And Jesus is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So you love Him and you worship Him today, and however your preference is. So y'all have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Hey, as we end this video, I just wanted to end with one more thing. You know, we talked about our music preferences, and preferences are about us and about ourselves. But isn't worship about Jesus? Isn't worship about Him? And so therefore, I think our prayer should be, Lord, help us to decrease and You to increase, no matter what style of music that's being played is. So y'all have a great day. I hope you understand my view, and I know yours may be different, and that's fine. God made us different, and so let's just agree to love each other, and I just wanted to share my point of view. Have a good day, and thank you for watching.